All right, what's good, YouTube? This is Boxingwave, and we are back with some more content. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. This fight here means so much to me, because especially because with Demetrius Andrade, I've been making content on Andrade for 10 years here, and nothing has really changed because we have not gotten a signature win yet from him. You know what I mean? At least at the time, going and beating Vanis Monterosian at one point was a good win because I believe both was undefeated at the time. And Monterosian for some years is always tough. He was tough for Lara. He was tough for Jamel Charlo in their fight. You know what I mean? He was one of the better junior middleweights at one point, and Andre was the first to beat him. With that being said, we went many years of fights not happening. Some of them his fault, some of them his opponent's fault. I do believe that Billy Joe Saunders ducked him. All right, you test positive in a drug, and then you get suspended, and then move up to the next division, and they never revisit the fight again. And I think that was very important because Saunders moved up to become a champion and face Canelo, in that run that Canelo had. So that is an official duck in that fight. If Andre took the fight or had the fight with Saunders and won the fight, if he had won the fight, that would have been a great name to have on his resume. But being that the fight never occurred, Andre just doesn't have any real relevant people on his resume. But he's always looked promising. I've been watching him way before I had this channel. I remember watching him on ESPN Friday Night Fights. You know what I mean? I've always wanted to see certain fights with him. When Floyd was fighting at 154, I wanted to see his fight with Lara. I wanted to see fights with the Charlo twins. I've made content on that. One of my biggest viewed videos is a video that I made years ago on Andre, like 8, 9, 10 years ago, on his career and all of the downfalls and all of the missed fights that we didn't get. But this fight here will finally solidify his career if he is to win. But it's going to be in there tough because he hasn't been at 168 long. He just pretty much got there. All right, he is with the PBC now. He's going to be fighting Benavidez, who's very dangerous, young, undefeated, and a bigger fighter, a career super middleweight. Many people will say that he belongs at lightweight right now, and you can't really argue that. So he's going to be fighting a bigger guy, a guy that's high volume, good power, decent boxing ability, very durable, and it should be a very good fight. This is a huge jump in opposition for Demetrius Andrade, in my opinion. But this will be a time for him to really showcase what he needs to do, because I don't feel like we've seen the best of him, because he's never been pushed. You fighting guys like Damon Nicholson in this last fight, Alantez Fox, Jason Quigley, all solid guys. They're solid opponents, but they're not elite fighters or close to it. So this is going to be a huge jump, and Andre is probably around 34 at this point. You know what I mean? I should pull it up because I don't want to be wrong with the age, because some of you guys say he's 35 now. Okay. It's to fight at this level. And some people are gonna say the same thing about Benavidez. Some people still feel that his resume is trash. And usually that comes up when we have the comparisons to Canelo Alvarez. A lot of people feel that Canelo is ducking him. Now as badly as I want the fight, I've always said to you guys, part of the reason why we may have not gotten that fight yet is because Benavidez didn't have a title when Canelo got there. Some people will say it was strategic. You're going to see it in the comments. I've made too much videos about that. Hopefully the winner of this fight gets Canelo. I'm hearing a whole bunch of different names are coming up, but hopefully the winner of this fight gets Canelo. I think the winner of this fight deserves a shot against Canelo. They will be, WBC interim title will be on the line. Hopefully we get Canelo against the winner of this fight. But this is a 50-50 fight, in my opinion. It is a 50-50 fight. A few days ago, I was chilling. I was watching a little bit of Benavidez against Plant, and then I was watching Canelo against Plant. You know, I like to go back to those fights against Caleb Plant because defensively, both defensively and offensively, I think Caleb Plant is so good. And I know Caleb took a lot of damage in both of those fights. I think in the first 5 or so rounds, Caleb Plant is really, hard to deal with. I think the problem with Plant is the obvious. Once he slows down, that defense he has, which is so good, it fails. And I think also it's the lack of the power to keep these guys from stop coming forward. But when I watched the other fight the other day, and I'm gonna dip into a little bit in the Canelo thing because it all comes together. You know, at the end of the day, these are the top guys right now. You know, Demetrius Andrade hasn't really proven himself as a super middleweight yet, but these are some of the top guys in this division. I mean, Andrade is a 2-division champion. You know what I mean? And even though he didn't fight another elite fighter yet, or he hasn't fought like another world champion level type of fighter yet, this will be his first because Benavidez is a 2-time champ already, and he's undefeated. Oh, I lost my point here. Anyway, this fight here is going to be very important. It's going to be key leading to the Canelo Alvarez fight. And looking at the Plant fight with Benavidez, Benavidez has a lot of flaws, you know, and I did that in the breakdown. I said this in the breakdown leading up to the Plant fight. I did pick Benavidez to beat Plant. I always thought he would beat Plant. But when I did the film study of Benavidez, yes, he has a lot of flaws in his game, you know. And I think Andrade is different from Plant, you know. I don't think Andrade defensively is as good as Plant, but offensively, he lets his hands go. He has great conditioning, you know what I mean? I don't know who's more durable between the two. I'm going to learn a lot. And this is going to be a hard breakdown to do because I'm going to learn a lot about Andrade in this fight here because I haven't seen him fight on an elite level. But when I look at the skill set of both, I do think that Andrade is the better talent between the two. It's just more about how long can Andrade maintain whatever he's doing that's working for him in these earlier rounds. Like Plant was doing better in those first few rounds, those first 3 or 4 rounds. Plant was doing better than Benavidez. But once he started to slow down and the gas tank started going empty, he started to get hit with everything. He had to rely on holding. I mean, the referee, Kenny Bayless, pretty much spared him, you know. He was too involved. The referee was too involved in the fight. Andrade, he's a little different, though. He's going to let his hands go. He's going to throw combinations. You know what I mean? He knows how to control distance well. He can fight on the inside. He has angles. He's a good counter puncher, you know, and he has fast hands. He has respectable power. I don't think he can knock out Benavidez or anything like that, but he has respectable power, you know, but we haven't seen him fight at a very, very elite level yet. You know, he hasn't fought like a real legitimate champion, you know, and a few times that he fought for a title, it was against another non-champion, you know. I can't even tell you what's the best person on his resume because it would have to be in between Selecki and, you know, Moderosian, I think. You know, I think as far as talent here, you know, I would say Jack Colquet can arguably be the best fighter he's fought. And that was one of the worst performances of Andrade. It was a split decision win for him. You know, and if you've seen that fight like I did, he could have went to Colquet. You know what I mean? But Colquet is very tricky. You know, his style is very awkward. And he's one of those guys that most people just don't look good facing. You know? But anyway, it's one of those fights when we talk about we gotta see it when we see it, and to really learn about more Andre. I feel like even though Andre's been fighting longer, I've been watching him longer. I'm gonna learn more about him in this fight because to me he's always looked like one of the best to me personally. He's always looked like one of the best against subpar fighters. And then you have to question whether or not he felt that confident because a lot of these fights that didn't take place, you could make an argument it was his fault. Being stripped more than once. You can't keep blaming the system and being ducked for every one of these fights for not happening. So it makes me wonder, okay, he looks the part when I watch him fight. He looks like one of the best. I believe that when I watch him fight. Sometimes it looks boring because it starts out fast. He comes out always blazing. He's explosive early. As the fight goes on and he hasn't, the fighters that he's fought that he hasn't knocked out, it starts to be like he's so dominant, but he can't put any of these fighters away, and he's hitting them a lot and they're not reacting to it. And for the people that believe Benavidez is going to win this fight, it may be based on that. Like, are you going to stop Benavidez from coming at you? And once the fight gets physical, like it did in the Liam Williams fight. Liam Williams, on a skill, talent level, is nowhere near Andrade. But he was still able to rock Andrade a couple of times in that fight after almost being stopped early in that fight. Andrade just couldn't put him away. And Williams kept coming. And Williams caught him with a couple of good shots. You know what I mean? But again, all of these people, when I talk about Andrade and all these opponents, Benavidez is better than all of them, And even though I know many people don't care for Benavidez and he didn't fight this guy or didn't fight that guy, he did beat Caleb Plant. He did beat him, and he did a lot of damage on him. He did beat Anthony Durrell, who is a former champion. You know what I mean? He did beat people at the division, and he's always fought at the division. Flaws and all right? There's many of them, and I can't wait to get to the breakdown because I will address all of these flaws like I've done in the past. The volume, the size, the volume, it works. He's aggressive, and he keeps coming. In a moment when you get caught slipping, you get a good shot from him, that might be all it takes to win. He might not be winning on points early. I don't think he will be. But can Andre maintain whatever is working? Can he maintain it for a period of 12 rounds? Because I don't see Andre stopping this guy. You know what I mean? So we're going to learn a lot about him. This is a very important fight. And I hope the winner, if it's a clear winner, I hope the winner fights Canelo Alvarez, in May. I'm hearing rumors of Carlos Adames possibly being an opponent. I'm hearing rumors about Jamal Charles still might possibly be an opponent. I don't know what Canelo's going to do. Canelo's going to do what he wants to do at the end of the day. We're still talking about Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford is going on social media. He's not letting off on Canelo's neck. He really wants to fight Canelo next at 168. I already addressed my views on that. As great as Bud is, and he is my favorite fighter, and I think he is the most skilled fighter currently boxing, I still think there's weight classes for a reason. In three divisions. Canelo Alvarez is not Errol Spence. He's not Errol Spence. He's much better to me than Errol Spence. And I would have told you this prior to this. I have the content saying this over and over again. There's levels. And I do think that Terrence Crawford is better than Canelo. But Canelo is three divisions up there, man. And I just wouldn't want to see Bud getting hit with a liver shot from Canelo. He's just too small, But yeah, man, I can't wait for the fight. I'm not giving you a pick yet because I haven't decided yet. I'm definitely going to have to do my film study for this one. to make a decision, because I do think for me it's a 50-50 fight. I do think Andrade is more skilled. I think he has a lot of weapons. I think he's more versatile. I think overall he's more well-rounded. But Benavidez is big, and once he gets a good rhythm going, you can't stop him. It's gonna be hard to slow him down. It's gonna be very hard to slow him down. All right. I'm still even unsure about him and Canelo. You know, there's certain days where I watch Benavidez and I think he can take Canelo based on activity in the later rounds. Guys slow down. A lot of it. The thing with Ben, I'm gonna be honest. I like Benavidez, but I will say that when I think of predictions, you know, on how a fight would go against certain fighters, a lot of it is based, when I'm picking Benavidez, a lot of it is based on the opponent slowing down. But when I think of what the opponents can do consistently, that's what makes me say, like, I think some of these fighters can beat him. When I was thinking of Caleb Plant, I picked against Plant, but I also felt that Plant had the skills to outbox Benavidez. I think that Andrade can outbox Benavidez. I think Canelo can outbox Benavidez and even possibly hurt him. You know what I mean? But it's like, can you maintain whatever's working? You know, I think with Canelo, Canelo's a little different, because I think Canelo can possibly make Benavidez fight going backwards on his back foot. And I just don't think Benavidez is that good at that. You know what I mean? Also, I haven't really seen anyone go to Benavidez' body that much. You know what I mean? So that's another thing I'm curious with. I'm like, what if Canelo can hurt him to the body? It's possible. You know what I mean? But with Andrade and Plant, who are not as powerful, even if I think they have the talent and ability to outbox him, can you maintain it? You know, and even if it goes to the cards, I can see Andrade taking a good shot, getting clipped, taking a knee, you know, or getting buzzed, be winning the round, and then getting caught with a good one and lose the round. You know what I mean? It's so many possibilities on this one. It's a great fight. I don't think it's pay-per-view, because I don't think it should be pay-per-view, because I think fights like this should be the standard. You know what I mean? It should just be the standard. But I mean, pay-per-views now, like, they're not gonna go anywhere anymore, you know. And even a platform like DAZN, who were so anti-pay-per-view in the beginning of, you know, when the app was created, I heard like guys like Eddie Hearn saying pay-per-view is dead, and now they're having the highest price in subscription and giving us pay-per-views on top of that. It's just like, come on, man. Pay-per-views are not going to go anywhere, you know. I mean, PPC is always giving us pay-per-views. So, anyway, man, we'll be back talking about this more. I'll probably bring it up again live at some point, and I will be doing a breakdown on this fight at some point as well. All right, so tune in. And make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit the thumbs up if you enjoyed the content. All right, peace.